welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet. I'm Mayastar, and this is the Mayastar Podcast. I teach energy healing courses online through Mayastar Academy, share spiritual guidance and mystical musings on the Maya Muses blog, and provide healing, ritual, and spellcasting services. As a star-seeded shaman and professional witch, on the Mayastar Podcast, I release articles, discussions, and energy updates every week, covering energy healing, spiritual awakening, lightworkers, starseeds, magic, and New Age spirituality. This episode is being re-released with upgraded audio and new cover art to coincide with the launch of the new Mayastar Podcast YouTube channel. Please check it out and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the new content coming soon. And welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet. I'm Mayastar, and today we have another unscripted video. On this unscripted video, we're going to be talking about the latest channeled meditation, which is through the Mintakan starseed energies, and we'll be talking about the latest special offer for the elemental pentagram and magic circle empowerments, as well as looking at the importance of developing a system of correspondences that can help you to develop your intuition and gain insight and deeper understanding on your spiritual path. I also have a new crystal friend to introduce to you, so make sure you stay to the end because that's going to be the last thing we look at, my little show and tell corner at the end. As usual, I come armed with notes but without a script. So we'll be meandering around these topics and pursuing the scenic route to enlightenment. If that sounds interesting to you, stick around and spend the next half an hour with me as we explore these things together. If you enjoy spiritual content, you may want to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future uploads. And the thing I wanted to start talking to you about today is the importance of developing your own system kind of thing. That might sound a bit strange since I teach traditional systems for energy healing and spiritual development. Why would I be recommending that people make their own one up? Well, that's not exactly what I'm saying. The thing is, when you are on your spiritual path, you'll often come across symbols that will relate to you in a unique way. They won't relate to other people in the same way. For example, I have a friend who really likes spiders. If she were to dream of spiders, that would mean one thing to her, whereas my mother has a phobia of spiders, and if she were to dream of spiders, that would mean something very different to her. So you've got the exact same symbol there that would have entirely different meanings for different people. And using your relationship to different symbols can help you to examine your own nature and your progress on your spiritual path. So what I would recommend is that if you don't already have a system of cataloguing symbols that helps you to build connections between those symbols so they gain a context over time that's unique to you, you may want to start off with something quite simple. Now, there are many systems that you've probably heard of that you can use for learning symbols, developing your own relationship to those symbols and exploring them and the connections between them, such as the tarot, or the Norse runes, the Celtic Ogham symbols that are related to trees, I mentioned those last week, the planets or the signs of the zodiac. And other people will use things like sacred festivals that they celebrate every year and use as an opportunity to check in with themselves and certain aspects of their development work, or the 5 elements. And this ties into the Elemental Pentagram course, which I would consider an excellent foundation if you don't already have a system by which you are exploring symbols and creating a way that you can use them in your own practice. Then the Elemental Pentagram and Magic Circle Empowerment course would be a great option for you. And the reason I recommend it is it only has 5 categories, so you would be working with only 5 symbols, and it's not so much to learn. It's not as daunting as if you're learning tarot or the Norse runes, where it be 78 or 24 sort of thing. So it's an excellent starting point for learning about the language of symbols. But in addition to that, I know that because of the title, it doesn't necessarily appeal to everybody. The pentagram is a sacred symbol mostly to pagans and modern witches or Wiccans, and other people can find the symbol a little bit off-putting, perhaps because it's too traditional, perhaps, I don't know, or perhaps they're just not drawn to the pagan and shamanic side of things, so they may feel drawn to other systems that are less traditional. But I would still recommend the Elemental Pentagram, because not only is it excellent for developing your system of correspondences to work with, but as a spiritual tool, the Pentagram and Magic Circle are extremely powerful techniques to use. A magic circle can be used for ritual work, spell casting, personal healing, deep meditation, for protection, to help you if you are developing a skill with astral travel or lucid dreaming. It can be used to clear negative energy from within your property by casting a circle around the entire property and then banishing the circle. You are bringing in positive energies and letting go of any negative energies. So even as a simple protection and energy cleansing tool, the Elemental Pentagram can be very powerful. And working with these simple rituals was probably the first thing I learnt on the spiritual path. The first thing I learnt, not from a book, but that was emphasised massively in my first coven. And these are the rituals that you learn when you're a very, 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 very new witch. Your very first experiments will be working with the elements and invoking the elements, casting a magic circle, banishing a magic circle, and getting used to that simple process of manipulating energy and anchoring it so that you can harness it to your intentions. So it's a simple ritual but very powerful, and it's also very versatile. Now, you may remember that last week somebody asked if you could use the Elemental Pentagram and Magic Circle empowerments technique without facing north, like identifying the directions that you want to work with so that they correspond in the actual physical world. And I advised them that I think they'd be missing out if they didn't include that as part of the rituals. So I would say that as well. This is an option for bringing your spiritual practice into the physical world and enhancing your awareness of the movement of the sun and the directions of the elements around you throughout the day. I mean, these things come through time and through repetition, but the elemental pentagram is the foundational ritual. So it's something that you can use even as you develop more elaborate rituals. Even the most elaborate rituals will start with a circle casting first. So I recommend this, whatever your intentions are with energy work, because I think some people can be put off. They think that the elemental pentagram and the idea of casting a magic circle sounds like something for witches, and therefore they think perhaps it's not for them. But I would recommend you look at it as more of a shamanic technique. Although it's popular with witches, anybody can use this technique, and it's essentially a way of creating sacred space for you to operate in when you're completing your spiritual practices. So you're designating an area as outside of the rest of the world. You are designating this area as a place that is safe for you to relax your consciousness into and be properly open while still having an energetic barrier to protect you. It also acts as a container for the energy that you bring in, and that can help you to build up that energy for a special purpose, such as for healing or to charge a crystal or something like that. But even if you find that the technique of casting a circle is a little bit too elaborate and you don't get used to it, just having the system of correspondences to work with in order to help you to gain insight to your own personal experiences, learn more about what your intuition is telling you by learning to recognize the symbols, and deriving greater meaning in your rituals. Because, for example, if you wanted to do a ritual that was for drawing love into your life, if you were familiar with the 4 elements, you'd think, oh, well, yes, of course, the element of water. And then if you knew more about it, you might think, yes, well, cups, perhaps champagne flutes like people have at weddings, they might be good in a ritual for this. That's an association that I could make between something in the real world and a symbol that reflects the element of water. And that's how you would build up your own correspondences, so that then later on, if you wanted to set an intention, maybe you would be doing a ritual, maybe you would be doing some manifesting work, but you would be able to borrow from your own catalogue of correspondences to make the ritual more meaningful and elaborate. But it is for making the ritual meaningful to you. So that's the thing to think of. You learn these things, but in a way you have to keep working with them so that they become your own. The rituals become a part of you and a very natural expression of your spiritual energy. I think really that applies to any of the energy healing techniques I teach, but I might be a bit biased in recommending the elemental pentagram because it's such an essential ritual for me, and one that I've been working with since my earliest coven days 32 years ago. It's a long time, but yeah. So in 32 years, you can imagine I've performed this ritual many, many times. It's very much a part of me, and it's been a foundation for many rituals that I've completed over the years, and I still use it to this day. I do use other rituals for casting circles these days, but they are built upon the original elemental pentagram technique for creating a sacred space. So that's just my personal recommendation. And at the moment, you can buy the Elemental Pentagram and Magic Circle Empowerments course for the special offer price on the Mayastar website. So if you go to mayastar.net and go to the courses menu, you'll be able to find it from there. And if you want to be informed of special offers, subscribe to the newsletter through the website and I'll keep you updated as new offers go live. But yes, that will be on the special offer for the next 7 days, and the first newsletter announcing that will go out in the next few hours at the time this video goes live. Sorry, I've just confused myself again with a bit of time travel trying to work out when these videos are going live. And this week's meditation is not actually related to this special offer course. This week's meditation track that will be going live on YouTube on Wednesday, or if you want to check now on the releases tab, I'm sure you'll find it there, or on your favourite music app, is for the Mintakan Starseed transmission. The Mintakan Starseeds come from the leftmost star of Orion's belt, and these are spiritual beings that some people call them aliens but in a similar way to the way we relate to the Pleiadians. They exist in an energy form and we access them on an energetic level and communicate with them that way. And the Mintakans are considered to live on an ocean planet sort of setting. Now again, remember, this isn't likely a real planet, although some people think it may have historically been a physical location. I don't concern myself too much with whether these things really ever existed, because I feel like the connections speak for themselves. When you communicate with light beings, sometimes you receive impressions and you can easily misinterpret them. So perhaps somebody was communing with these beings, experienced a great city in an ocean world and interpreted that very literally, but it wouldn't necessarily have to be exactly the way that it appeared. Though when people communicate with these light beings, think of it as a telepathic communication, and you are almost sharing a dream with the being. They are communicating in symbols rather than in words. So don't take everything completely literally. It doesn't always follow the same rules as things in the so-called real world. But if you feel drawn to water energies and to starseed energies, I think you'll enjoy these light codes. So, as I say, you can find them now on the releases tab, and the video format will be going live on the podcast and on YouTube on Wednesday. I also have a personal update. Well, is it personal? Not really. It's not really personal. It's just an update about the channel. You may have noticed that the channel is now monetized. That means that if you want to show your appreciation, you can use the thanks button that you'll find beneath each video, and there's the super chat button if you visit one of the live streams while it's still live, and you can make a highlighted message. I will also be bringing in options for channel membership in 2024, so keep a lookout for that. I might start that up towards the end of this year with just a basic level, but I want to get everything planned out properly so that I know what I'm going to do for each level, and then I'll introduce them as and when. Like, I'll start off with the basic tier and then I'll introduce the next one maybe a couple of months later or whatever, and so on, rather than putting it all out there all at once. just to make sure that everything's manageable. I can't risk offering perks to channel members and then not being able to fit it in around the other work. So I'm being sensible as usual. Planning, strategizing, making sure that was something I was going to say, all this planning and strategizing. I was really tapping into that Emperor energy from last week's energy update. I said it was going to be powerful, and it really is. But the thing is, you're going to know about that. Oh my goodness, here we go, time traveling again. You're going to know about that last week. Just anything I say makes sense at this point. Anyway, a week ago for you that those energies were relevant. No, at the time of recording, I will have been experiencing them for a fortnight because I do the readings 2 weeks ahead. And as soon as I'd done the energy update for the Emperor one, I went into a totally Emperor energy mode, strategizing. Well, the channel got monetized, so I started thinking about what I would do with the channel membership options, and then I started going through every aspect of my work and deciding, do I want to change this? Do I want to change this sort of thing? Although it is the time of year that I usually do these kinds of things, because we're getting into October. So for me, the Samhain Festival, Halloween for most people, that's the New Year. So at this point, I'm sort of thinking of my New Year's resolutions. You might be thinking, Emperor energy in October, shouldn't you be chilling out a bit? No, I'm just building up for the New Year. So now's the time that I make all of my plans, but then I usually execute them from the start of January. So yeah, I suppose I come up with the plans and then allow myself a couple of months to fine tune them, ready for launch at the beginning of the new year. So that's 2 New Years. And time travel is not my forte, is it? I'm all over the place. I hope I'm not confusing you too much, but today was a bit scattered. You won't know it because I'm so professional, clearly, but you won't know it. But while I was recording this, there were loads of distractions. The cat started howling at one point. I had to go off and help her. The postman came to deliver some parcels. I had to stop that too. And my mum dropped by with a present for me. So I ended up with up, down. The fact that this video is seamlessly put together is only due to my editing abilities, because in reality this morning has been really hectic. I think I'm getting there now. Hang on. Right, and that brings us on to my special announcement. My very special announcement. I got a new crystal this week. This was another gift from my friend Liam, who, as I've mentioned, well, you'll probably see him in the comments. He's often in the comments of my videos, and he can give you the link, Liam, if you think of it. Put the link to your Instagram in the comments, where he showcases his crystals. But he's given me this crystal as a gift because he was working with unicorn energy. One of the systems that I channeled, Unicorn Love and Light, that's quite a popular system for working with when you're doing inner child work and that kind of thing. It's a very comforting energy. It's very playful. I find it very creative. I like to work with the unicorns for creativity, and he sent me a unicorn horn. I know what you're thinking. Unicorns don't really exist. But like I've said before, it doesn't matter. If there was a physical reality of the unicorns, they can exist as energy beings now and interact with them and decide for yourself whether they are real or not. But you ready for the big unveiling? Here it is. Let me just get it out of its cozy little house. Here we go. And hope that you can see that it actually does look like a unicorn horn. Now, it would be for my little unicorn, wouldn't it? It would be a very small one. But actually what it is, it's a shell that's become filled with a crystal over time. and then the shell's gone and it's just left the crystal, which means it's got a sort of spiral pattern on it. It's very subtle, but it's got very nice energy. So that's something that I've recently received and I'm very much adoring. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm quite thinking about making a piece of jewellery out of it. I do that sometimes, so I may do that. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to wait for the crystal to tell me what it wants to do, or how it wants to work with me. Like I said, I consider crystals my friends and I work with them in my spiritual practice regularly. They're all over my altar. Some of them are used specifically for certain spells, and others are for specific energy healing modalities that I work with, or when I'm sending attunements, crystals that I use for that process. So I have a huge collection of crystals, but they are all amazing in their own right. They're all completely unique, and my relationships with those crystals develop over time. So we'll see how things pan out with my unicorn horn. And while I'm here, I seem to think you didn't get a very good view of some of my other crystals because I was on the old webcam. So let me show you some of the other recent additions. This one is the Mount Shasta Opal. That was a gift from Liam. It's very nice. I just pulled a funny face. I might have to edit that out because I might have looked a bit ridiculous. Sorry. Here we go. Have a look. Have a look in the nice bright light. It's very pale blue. I'm moving it around, not because I'm fidgeting, but just so that you can see how the light catches it. There you go. I hope you could see that one. And look at me sitting here with all my crystal friends gathered around me like an audience. And here we go with the cavern site. This was a recent addition. A very bright blue. Very, very bright blue, isn't it? Very magical. So these are the crystals that I have closest at hand at the moment, and quite a few pieces of rose quartz over there from a recent ritual. I'm actually, at the time of recording this, I'm in the middle of the 9-9 portal. So that's the energy I'm working with mostly at the moment, the Pleiadian energy current. I think that might be why I ended up channeling the Mintakan Starseed transmission for the meditation this week, because I'm so centered around Starseed energies that it just, sometimes that's the way it goes. Another thing you might notice this week is I'm changing the style of the artwork on the live videos. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with it. I'm not sure how that's going to pan out. Just wait and see how it evolves. But yeah, I've been creating some new artwork, and when I create new artwork where it's appropriate, I'll be sharing it on those live streams with the looped meditation tracks, so that you can get the 12-hour versions for listening to overnight. And with the monetization, what I do is I just put the adverts so that they go on at the beginning and the end of the meditation videos, so that it doesn't interrupt you. So if you want to say thank you for the uninterrupted versions of those, then hit the super thanks button underneath and I will gratefully receive your donation. And I think that's everything that I wanted to cover today. I hope that's been an interesting talk for you. I hope you learned something new. I hope you're feeling inspired. If you would like to work with me to progress your spiritual path with energy healing or magical interventions, visit the website at the link in the description and email me. I'll be happy to offer you my personalised recommendations. And I hope you've had a good week. I hope you're about to have another one. And I hope to see you again for some more mystical meanderings with me next week. But in the meantime, I wish you peace, prosperity, and progress in all you do. With blessings.